flying down neon pathways between crystal pyramids, and dodging giant corporate structures that render as an obsidian shark. Now that is VR. No? Wait, that's cyberpunk. Big thanks again to our sponsor, Oculus Rift, for underwriting us and making 2 extra episodes of Extra Sci-Fi this season possible. Also, be sure to check out the Rift exclusives like Robo Recall and Dead and Buried. For more info on the Oculus Rift, check out the link in the description below. We'll be back next week with Arthur C. Clarke, but for now, here comes the second half of the history of VR and sci-fi. And we are at Cyberpunk. William Gibson storms onto the stage, tying together the weird counterculture ethos of new wave sci-fi with the readability of the pulps. In 1981, he brings us Johnny Mnemonic, a story about a human whose brain is used for spare data storage. Unfortunately for him, though, someone has put something in there that others would rather see destroyed. This is also where we first meet Molly Millions, and if you get that reference, you know exactly where we're going. But before we can get there, we have to talk about Gibson's 1982 story called Burning Chrome. Not only is it the first place where the word cyberspace is used, but it's the first time we see someone jack in. Together, these stories led to the novel that changed sci-fi forever, Neuromancer, which we're going to be talking about a heck of a lot more when we do our series on cyberpunk, but here, we're going to focus on the fact that it put VR in the center of popular culture. It envisioned 2 different methods of VR. One where you jack directly into your nervous system, and another where you put electrodes on your head which deliver you a full sensory experience. Both of these will become staples in sci-fi, but they also do something important, something different from most of the sci-fi that came before. Instead of creating a simulated reality that the protagonist has to escape from, they create a layered reality of which the user is aware. This allows characters to flip back and forth between the virtual world and the real world at will, enabling the two to flow together. The virtual world becomes a tool for real-world actions, and things in the real world affect the virtual. All of the sudden, we realize that they aren't 2 worlds, but rather one. Just like the internet today, cyberpunk gave us a simulated reality that wasn't actually virtual at all. It was simply an extension to our reality. This theme is explored in Gibson's other novels, Stevenson's Snow Crash and Diamond Age, the Otherland series by Tad Williams, and countless other books. Then, by the 90s, American cinema jumped all over it. And while many of these films are a bit of a mess, I am looking at you, Johnny Mnemonic. Many others helped solidify a vision of virtual reality in the popular consciousness. Strange Days, Existence with a Z, and of course, The Matrix gave us a full immersion trip into a realm where anything was possible, where we weren't limited by who we were in the day-to-day and could be anyone or anything, where we could play out our wildest fantasies or have godlike powers. But it's actually one of the earliest modern virtual reality movies that I want to take a second to discuss, because in a weird way, it's one of the most interesting. Lawnmower Man. While the movie itself is, let's just say, not great, it does have one important feature. Years before Diamond Age hit the stands, Lawnmower Man introduced pop culture to an element of VR that's often overlooked. It raised the possibility of using a virtual environment for educational and therapeutic reasons. And sure, it all goes horribly wrong in the end with a virtual lawnmower mowing over someone's brain forever, but there's a kernel of something important there. Because while things like The Matrix have characters just upload a learning program and suddenly master new knowledge, Lawnmower Man, in a very, very ham-fisted way, pointed out that there are a number of advantages a virtual environment might provide fields of education and therapy. Advantages that are just being explored today, and in the long run may be what drives the use of VR. But the next interesting conceptual exploration of virtual reality doesn't come from Hollywood. It comes when cyberpunk concepts cross the water and are filtered through the lens of anime. Because here, it takes an interesting turn. Anime like Lane Serial Experiments, Dot Hack, Denoa Coil, and Sword Art Online all fundamentally explore the same idea. What if this tool isn't actually in our control? These shows marry an old and a new concept in science fiction. Cyberpunk brought us the idea of virtual reality as a tool, as an extension of our world, and as something we could use in our real-world lives. Whereas older sci-fi gave us the concept of simulated reality as something to escape. Time and time again, anime brings these two concepts together to ask what happens when we build something bigger than ourselves. When we try to play God and create whole worlds, whole universes to live in. Is that something we can ever really control? Or will it, by the nature of its complexity, have outcomes we can't predict? Will we create things we can't fully understand? Things that may even entrap us. Different shows run different directions with this. Some delving into the philosophic and religious, others using it to create a human drama about self-determination. This theme is so broad it almost becomes its own genre in anime. But they all force us to think not just about the wonder of the technology itself, but about the people who use it to create. Almost every one of these representations of virtual reality, though, whether they're from novels, film, or anime from the 30s to today, have one thing in common. One thing that's created a set of expectations in the public that are impossible for any current technology to live up to. Like Star Trek's holodeck. They are almost all fully immersive, total body experiences. We read about walking around virtual environments as if we're walking in the real world. No controller, no device to constantly remind us the world we're experiencing is only an illusion. We hear characters talk about the feel or smell of things in their virtual worlds, and we want to experience that. We want to feel the shock of our sword when we parry a giant monster's swing. We want to feel the heat of its breath and smell the stink as it exhales. Well, maybe some of us on that last one. That's what we want virtual reality to be. And that's what we imagine it to be in our holodeck, Neuromancer, and Matrix-inspired dreams. And that is one of the biggest hurdles for modern virtual reality to overcome, our own expectation. We've talked about it on Extra Credits, but we're a long way off from that. Right now, virtual reality is a head-mounted display that uses gyros to let you look around virtual worlds. And there are a number of amazing experiences that I love that you can have with it. But to truly enjoy it, you have to go in not thinking of it through the lens of a William Gibson or Reiki Kawahara. We have to understand that today's VR is its own thing, with its own marvels, and appreciate it at that. And if we can do that, then maybe it can be the first step towards the science fiction ideal we all desire. So until next time, everyone. That was awesome. You know, I think I got a little more time. Ah, that's better. All right, who's up for that Walpole raid? Huh? Let's roll. Once again, thanks so much to Oculus Rift for sponsoring these episodes. Like I said before, I was so excited when they wanted to work with us because the Rift is my favorite VR headset. This week I've been playing Brass Tactics to get my RTS fix, and Catan VR for when I want to be social with my friends wherever we are. Please check out the link below for more info on the Oculus Rift and tell them Extra Credits sent you.